At 60, Sarah looked and felt 85. Her joints ached, her energy was depleted, and she couldn't keep up with her grandchildren. But 6 months later, her biological age had reversed by 12 years, and people started asking if she'd had work done. The secret wasn't expensive treatments or supplements. It was 5 specific exercises that most fitness experts have never heard of. I've seen dramatic transformations happen over and over again with these exercises. Trust me, these 5 science-backed exercises can literally reverse your aging process with ease. Before we explore these exercises, let's discuss an important factor that affects our longevity and mobility, which is often ignored. In 1989, scientists introduced the term sarcopenia, derived from the Greek word sars, meaning flesh, and penia, meaning loss, to refer to the decline of muscle associated with aging that begins in our 30s. They were unaware at the time of how quickly this condition worsens after turning 50. By 2019, sarcopenia was officially acknowledged as a medical issue. Why is this significant? Because studies now indicate that it is a leading cause of disability, frailty, and falls among older adults. The good news is that recent research, including a pivotal study from 2024, shows that sarcopenia can be both prevented and reversed. This study demonstrated that older adults can regain muscle in just 12 weeks with appropriate exercises. You might be thinking, I already understand the importance of exercise. However, here's the twist. Not all exercises are equally effective. Engaging in the wrong activities or exercising without the proper technique can waste your time or even cause injuries. That's why in this video, I will present the top 5 anti-aging exercises and the one method that scientists refer to as the gold standard for reversing muscle loss, no matter your age. For these 5 exercises, we will concentrate on the essential muscle groups in your body, providing both easier and more challenging options to accommodate any fitness level. Exercise number 1, the squat. Let's begin with exercise number 1. This is something I suggest to nearly every patient in my clinic who is over 50. It is the squat. Squats engage the largest muscles in our legs, the glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings, which are vital for walking, climbing stairs, and getting up from a chair. However, what many people are unaware of is that squats also activate the muscles in the back and core. This contributes to building stability and endurance in our trunk, which ultimately aids in daily activities like lifting, bending, and carrying. Here's how to perform the squats correctly. Start by standing with your feet shoulder-width apart. You can either extend your arms straight in front of you or cross them over your chest. This position helps improve stability and endurance in your core, which is beneficial for daily activities like lifting, bending, and carrying. To do the squats properly, stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Position your arms either straight ahead or crossed in front of your chest. Inhale as you slowly lower your body by bending at the hips and knees simultaneously. Remember to pause at the lowest point. Keep your back straight and breathe deeply. When you exhale, push yourself back up, concentrating on engaging your major leg muscles, such as your glutes and quads. I usually suggest doing 2 sets of 10 repetitions for this exercise. If you want to increase the difficulty, you can hold a weight, like a 10 or 15-pound dumbbell. To make it easier, you can use a chair for slow sit stands, using the armrests for support if needed. Again, start with 2 sets of 10. And you can gradually increase the repetitions as you build strength. The golden rule of rehabilitation. Before you incorporate squats into your daily routine, there's one important thing to keep in mind. Without this knowledge, you may face frustration and even risk injury. Let me share the story of Lucy, a 60-year-old patient of mine who went from having difficulty walking to his mailbox to being able to walk and garden for an hour in just a few weeks. Now, Lucy loved gardening and playing with his grandkids, but after injuring his back, he was unable to do either. When he came to see me, he was only able to walk 10 minutes. I gave Lucy a few exercises. One of them was the squat, and I also started him on a simple protocol, walking for just 5 minutes a day. Now here's the trick that I wish all my patients knew. I asked Lucy to increase his exercise and walking time by 20% each week, and this is what we call the golden rule of rehab. Consistency is always better than intensity. In 2 months, Lucy tripled his walking time, was able to get back to gardening for an hour, and regained his strength to lift and play with his granddaughter again. So the key takeaway here is that progress doesn't have to be fast, it just needs to be steady. To improve your strength and reverse muscle loss, we have to focus on consistency and gradual improvements. Think marathon, not a sprint. And this approach, called progressive strength training, is what scientists now call the gold standard for fighting muscle loss and reversing aging. Exercise number 2, the modified crunch. This one is focused on strengthening your back and your core. Another exercise I recommended to Lucy, exercise number 2, is called the modified crunch. Crunches are excellent for targeting your core muscles, particularly the rectus abdominis, which is also called the six-pack muscle. But more importantly, the modified crunch helps build a strong core by strengthening the deeper muscles of the trunk and the back, which is essential for maintaining good posture and trunk stability, while also helping reduce back pain in later years. So, here's how to perform the modified crunch, a version most people can do. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor or on your bed. Place your hands on your thighs. From here, engage your abdominal muscles by pulling your belly button down towards the ground. Imagine the muscles of the core getting slightly tighter while your low back gets flatter against the bed. If you have back pain, this slight movement of a pelvic tilt can give you relief. From here, inhale deeply, and as you exhale, lift your shoulder blades off the ground. Focus on using your abdominal muscles to curl up rather than pulling with your neck or chest. Only go as high as you can, holding for a moment at the top, then slowly lowering back down as you inhale, repeating for 2 sets of 15 repetitions. If you have neck pain, you can place your hands lightly behind your head for slight support, but again, do not pull with your neck. Ensure the movement is mostly coming from your core, remembering that quality is more important than quantity. Concentrate on engaging your core throughout the movement while also maintaining your breath. Now, to make this more challenging, you can either lift up higher, use a weight on your chest, or you can simply do more repetitions. But for an easier version, you can perform a partial crunch, lifting just your head and shoulders slightly off the ground, maybe an inch or 2, but you should still be able to feel this in your core. Exercise number 3, the reverse lunge. Now that we've worked on strengthening your core, let's move on to an exercise that will challenge your lower body strength, balance, and flexibility all at once. Exercise number 3 is called the reverse lunge. Lunges, like squats, are a key exercise for building stronger legs and glutes. But that's not all. Lunges also engage your back and abdominal muscles, helping to relieve stress on your spine and ease back pain, which, like I mentioned, is common in many of my patients over 50. Research shows that regular lunges not only boost your knee and hip joint health, but also increase bone density, reducing the risk of osteoporosis. Now I will show you a lunge variation that is easier than the usual forward or walking lunge you might encounter. Begin by standing with your feet shoulder width apart and holding onto a chair or counter for support in front of you. Keep your back straight as you take a step back that is wider than normal. Your front leg should create a right angle at the bend, while your back leg stays on the toe and bends at a right angle as much as possible. As you lower yourself, visualize a straight line from your back to your neck, moving down as one unit, bending both hips and knees smoothly. You don't have to touch the floor with your knee, just aim to be about 3 to 5 centimeters above the ground. When you reach the bottom, rise slowly in one fluid motion, keeping your abdominal muscles tight and remembering to breathe throughout. Return to the starting position and repeat on the other side, aiming for one set of 10 repetitions on each side. If you experience knee or hip arthritis pain, I recommend starting with mini lunges, lowering yourself only 25% of the way down. If you have more mobility and strength, you can attempt a more challenging version, letting go of the support and using a 10-pound dumbbell in each hand for extra difficulty. Again, aim for one set of 10 repetitions on each side, gradually increasing the numbers and the depth of your lunge as you build strength. Exercise. Number 4. The modified push-up. Now that we have strengthened our legs and core, it's time to focus on the main muscles of our upper body. Exercise 4 is a modified push-up. Push-ups are an effective exercise for building upper body strength, targeting your chest, shoulders, and triceps. They also work your core, which helps enhance your ability to lift, carry, push, and pull. This exercise was crucial for Lucy, who gained the strength to lift and play with her granddaughter. Here's how to do a push-up, starting with an easier modified version for beginners. Position your hands slightly wider than shoulder-width apart on the floor while keeping your knees on the ground. Maintain a straight line from your head down to your knees. Lower your body towards the floor by bending your elbows, ensuring your body stays straight. Try to go down until your chest is just above the floor, but there's no need to touch it. Gradually push yourself back up to the starting position in a smooth and controlled manner. Engage your core and keep your body straight during the entire movement. Aim for 2 sets of 10 repetitions. Now, for those with shoulder problems or reduced upper body mobility, try this easier version against the wall. Stand facing a wall with your feet about a foot away. Place your hands on the wall slightly wider than shoulder width. Bend your elbows and lean towards the wall, bringing your chest closer without touching it, and then pushing yourself back to the starting position. This is a gentle way to build upper body strength without putting too much strain on your shoulders. You can always make this harder by moving your feet further away from the wall or by using a countertop. Now, if you have extra strength and mobility, you can always challenge yourself with the full push-up. The only difference is you have your feet on the ground rather than your knees. But keep your body in a straight line from your head to heels, keeping your core tight. Now, regardless of which version you choose, aim for 2 sets of 10 repetitions to start, gradually increasing as you build strength in your upper body. Exercise number 5. The glute bridge. The final exercise, number 5, is the glute bridge. In my experience, it's the most powerful indicator of overall mobility and strength well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. If you're able to perform 10 to 20 repetitions of this exercise, it means that you have the strength needed for essential daily activities like getting off the bed, chair, walking, and climbing stairs. Because of its functional importance, I suggest most of my patients incorporate it into their regular routine. Here's how to perform the glute bridge. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor or bed, knees hip-width apart. Place your arms at your sides, palms facing down for stability. From here, engage and tighten your core by bringing your belly button down as you inhale. Press through your heels and lift your hips off the floor, squeezing your glutes at the top. Your body doesn't have to form a straight line, just go as far as you can. Hold this position for a brief moment, ensuring your glutes and core are engaged. Exhale as you slowly lower your hips back to the floor, maintaining control throughout the descent. Perform 2 sets of 10 repetitions. To make the glute bridge more challenging, try incorporating a single leg variation, lifting one leg while performing the bridge. This adds way more intensity and engages your stabilizer muscles of your side glutes even more. For a more accessible version, start by focusing on squeezing and holding your glute muscles while keeping your hips close to the ground. You can slowly raise your hips by 1 to 2 inches off the ground as you gain strength over time. You'll notice you can lift higher and do the exercises more easily. Now, here are 2 important tips for those over 65. Make sure your core muscles are engaged during the movement and avoid extending too much through your lower back or arching backward.
Just ensure you're performing this smoothly and in a controlled manner. So now that you understand how to increase your muscle mass and become stronger, here's something even more thrilling. 7 health checkups you should deny after 70 that may harm. Check it out because it will blow your mind as to what health checkups should be avoided and why after 70 for longevity. I'll see you there.